look up at the night sky. In our Milky Way galaxy alone, there are over 100 billion stars. Many of these luminous bodies are billions of years older than our own sun, and orbiting them are countless Earth-like planets just waiting to be explored. According to the strict laws of mathematics and probability, our universe should be absolutely teeming with intelligent life. Out there in the deep cosmos, there should be colossal alien megastructures blocking out the light of their own stars. We should be seeing the grand footprints of interstellar empires conquering the galaxy and intercepting millions of artificial radio signals piercing the cold void. But when we point our most powerful telescopes into space and listen carefully, what exactly do we hear? Absolute, dead, and terrifying silence. In 1950, the brilliant physicist Enrico Fermi looked at this glaring mathematical contradiction and asked a simple but chilling question that still haunts scientists today. Where is everybody? If the universe is so incredibly vast and so old, why haven't we found a single trace of anyone else's existence? This haunting mystery brings us to one of the darkest and most terrifying concepts in modern science: the Great Filter. It is a hypothetical cosmic barrier, an evolutionary step so difficult to overcome and so inevitably destructive that almost no civilization in the universe can survive it. The ultimate question for all of humanity isn't just whether aliens exist. The real, existential question is far more frightening. Is this ruthless Great Filter already behind us, and we survived against all odds, or is it still patiently waiting for our civilization in the cold dark of the future? To truly grasp the terrifying weight of the Fermi Paradox, we must first try to comprehend the incomprehensible scale of our universe. Imagine a single grain of sand resting on your fingertip. If you held that tiny grain up against the night sky at arm's length, the impossibly small patch of space it covers contains over 10,000 entire galaxies. Now, realize that the observable universe stretches across 93 billion light-years in every direction, holding roughly 2 trillion galaxies. Inside our own cosmic neighborhood, the Milky Way, there are up to 400 billion stars. Scientists estimate that about 1/5 of these stars are orbited by Earth-sized planets located in the habitable zone, the precise, delicate distance where water can remain liquid. That means there could be 40 billion planets capable of supporting life just in our own galaxy alone. If even a microscopic fraction of these worlds developed simple life, and a fraction of those evolved into intelligent, tool-using beings, the Milky Way should be home to millions of advanced civilizations. Furthermore, our solar system is relatively young. There are stars out there billions of years older than our sun. If an alien civilization started just 1 million years before us, a mere blink of an eye in cosmic time, they would have had enough time to colonize the entire galaxy, even flying at slow, sublight speeds. Their self-replicating drones, colony ships, or Dyson spheres should be literally everywhere we look. Yet, despite this overwhelming mathematical certainty, we see absolutely nothing. To solve this terrifying silence, in 1996, economist Robin Hanson proposed a chilling concept known as the Great Filter. Imagine the evolutionary path of a species as a long, dangerous staircase. At the very bottom, you have dead, lifeless chemistry. At the very top, you have an interstellar, galaxy-spanning civilization. To get from the bottom to the top, life must pass through a strict series of evolutionary steps. It must emerge from non-living matter, form complex cells, develop intelligence, invent technology, and finally, conquer the stars. But because the universe is so entirely empty, Hansen realized something terrifying. One of these steps must be almost impossible to climb. There is a cosmic barrier, a great filter, that acts as a ruthless evolutionary wall, wiping out almost every civilization that encounters it. This filter prevents life from expanding across the galaxy. The terrifying part is that we don't know exactly where this wall is located on the staircase. It leaves us with 2 possible scenarios, and both are deeply unsettling. Either the Great Filter is behind us, meaning we have already passed the hardest test in the universe and we are incredibly, uniquely rare. Or, far more terrifyingly, the great filter is still waiting for us ahead. This implies that civilizations routinely evolve to our exact level of technology, look up at the stars with hope, and then inevitably trigger their own violent extinction before they can ever leave their home planet. Let us first consider the optimistic, yet profoundly lonely scenario. The great filter is firmly behind us. This means that at some point in our planet's deep past, we successfully passed an evolutionary barrier so ridiculously improbable that almost no other planet ever manages it. What could this barrier be? It might be the very spark of life itself. The leap from dead, inorganic chemicals to the first self-replicating biological cell, a process known as abiogenesis, could be a freak accident of the universe, requiring such a specific, impossible combination of temperature, radiation, and chemistry that it basically only happened here. Or perhaps the filter came later. For roughly 2 billion years, life on Earth consisted of nothing but microscopic, single-celled organisms floating aimlessly in ancient oceans. It took a bizarre, 1 in a trillion biological accident, where one cell swallowed another without digesting it, creating mitochondria, to give birth to complex eukaryotic cells. Without that single microscopic freak occurrence, there would be no plants, no animals, and no humans looking up at the stars. If the great filter is behind us, it means the universe isn't necessarily hostile to life, but rather that the emergence of complex life is just an extreme statistical anomaly. We are the lucky lottery winners of the cosmos. In this scenario, we don't see any aliens because there is almost no one else out there to see. We are the absolute exception to the rule, standing completely alone in an empty theater. But what if the great filter is not behind us? This brings us to the second, deeply terrifying scenario. The impenetrable evolutionary wall is still patiently waiting for us in the near future. If the spark of life is actually quite common, and complex beings frequently evolve across the galaxy, then the absolute silence of the cosmos means something deeply disturbing. It means that alien civilizations routinely reach our exact level of technological advancement, look up at the stars with hope, and then inevitably trigger their own violent extinction before they can colonize other worlds. Why? Because the very tools required to conquer the stars are also the ultimate tools of absolute destruction. Once an intelligent species unlocks the raw power of splitting the atom, the ability to engineer synthetic viruses, or the creation of an artificial superintelligence, they hold the literal keys to their own annihilation. It only takes one single catastrophic mistake, a devastating global nuclear war, a runaway artificial intelligence that decides its biological creators are obsolete, or a highly contagious engineered pandemic could wipe out tens of thousands of years of evolutionary progress in a matter of days. In this grim scenario, the beautiful night sky is not an empty theater. It is a dark, silent graveyard of billions of dead civilizations that pushed the wrong button. This is exactly why finding fossilized microbes on Mars or simple swimming life under the thick ice of Europa would be the most terrifying news in human history. It would prove that the emergence of life is easy, meaning the great filter is almost certainly ahead of us, and our greatest, deadliest test has just begun. But what if the great filter is neither behind nor ahead of us? There is another profound solution to the Fermi Paradox, one that doesn't rely on inevitable extinction, but on intentional isolation. Welcome to the zoo hypothesis. Proposed in 1973 by astronomer John Ball, this theory suggests that advanced alien civilizations do exist. They are fully aware of us, and they possess the technology to fill the galaxy with signals. However, they have made a collective, deliberate decision to remain silent and treat Earth as a massive quarantine zone. To them, we are primitive, violent, or perhaps just too developing to handle the truth of the cosmos. We are being treated like wild animals in a nature reserve, observed from a safe distance, but left entirely to our own evolutionary devices. Just as human anthropologists might use disguised cameras or satellites to study isolated tribes in the Amazon without directly contacting them, the entire Milky Way might be swarming with undetectable alien surveillance probes. These silent observers are quietly recording our television broadcasts, monitoring our technological progress, and waiting for us to reach a precise level of ethical or intellectual maturity. In this disturbing yet hopeful scenario, the universe is not a silent graveyard of dead empires. It is a vibrant, bustling galactic city full of advanced communication, interstellar commerce, and ancient wisdom. We are simply the only ones living in the quiet, fenced-off park outside the city gates, completely unaware that the party has already begun. As we reach the end of our cosmic journey, we are forced to confront the ultimate realization. Whether the great filter is safely behind us, whether it is a terrifying wall waiting in our near future, or whether we are silently being observed by advanced civilizations in a cosmic zoo, the conclusion remains exactly the same. Human consciousness is an incredibly rare and fragile miracle. If the universe is truly empty and we are completely alone, then we carry a massive, almost unbearable responsibility. We are the only part of the universe that can actually look up, understand its own existence, and feel awe. We are the cosmos made conscious. If we destroy ourselves through a devastating nuclear war, engineered pandemics, or runaway artificial intelligence, we wouldn't just be ending human history. We would be permanently extinguishing the only spark of meaning in an otherwise dead, dark, and silent void. The Great Filter is not just a theoretical scientific concept. It is a profound, existential warning. It challenges us to outgrow our primitive tribal conflicts, to manage our terrifying technologies with wisdom, and to protect this pale blue dot at all costs. The stars are waiting for us. The choice is ours. Will we become the ancient, wise civilization that eventually fills the galaxy with light and life? Or will we become just another silent, fossilized ruin buried in the dust of a dead planet? The next chapter of the universe depends entirely on us.